Imagine a child sitting in a classroom just before the lesson begins. Nothing extraordinary is happening, but there's a small vase of fresh flowers on the table. The morning light is coming through the window, and on the board, a drawing has been made carefully, or perhaps a painting. It's not perfect, but it was made with care. So the room is quiet and something in the child settles. No one has explained anything and no instruction has begun, and yet something has already been taught. Beauty has entered first, before the intellect, before the agenda, the timeline, the bell. Beauty. So today I want to speak about the power of that force and how it changes our inner lives, and how and why it may be one of the most essential elements in any classroom and in any culture and in all of our lives. Been thinking about the power of beauty for years, and now it's just time to bring it to Anthropotter. So there's something we're not speaking about enough, I think. In these times of noise, urgency, and fractured attention, I believe that we're starving, not for information or opinion, not for solutions. We're starving for beauty. Not decorative beauty, though that helps, or definitely not curated perfection, but the kind that feeds the soul. When Rudolf Steiner spoke of education, he did not speak first about curriculum. He spoke about the human being. He said that thinking, feeling, and willing must be educated in harmony, and that beauty, true beauty, is the bridge. It's the province of the class teacher, grade 1 to 8 in a Waldorf school, but I believe it's the province of all education. Beauty educates the feeling life, and the feeling life is what makes us human. So when a child encounters something beautiful, a story you told with reverence, or a blackboard drawing made with care, a poem that's spoken slowly, something inside them kind of organizes. The breath softens and their nervous system settles. Beauty is not extra, it's formative. In many Polynesian cultures, beauty is not aesthetic preference, it is spiritual sustenance. Adornment and chant, carved wood or woven cloth are not ornaments, they're offerings. And in some Polynesian traditions, the living maintain relationship with their ancestors through beauty, through careful preparation of space, through song, flowers placed with intention, and food, because beauty becomes food for the spirit, they believe, both for the living and the dead. Imagine that. Beauty not as luxury, but as nourishment. In Japan, there is the aesthetic principle of wabi-sabi, but wabi-sabi holds the beauty of impermanence and imperfection. A cracked tea bowl is repaired with gold. A single branch in a quiet room, or simplicity that invites presence. Beauty soothes because it does not demand performance. It invites contemplation. In Islamic art, geometry and pattern are the pathways to the divine. Repetition becomes meditation, and pattern becomes prayer. beauty becomes remembrance. Across cultures, beauty is not superficial, it's relational. It connects visible and invisible worlds. It shapes our inner life. So what does this mean for classrooms, for teachers, for any space where human beings gather? Right now, many classrooms wound rather than repair or heal, with fluorescent lights and plastic bins, harsh voices and rushed transitions. Let's not forget the power of natural life. Let's not forget that a poem can be spoken before a math lesson and a moment of silence before science, because beauty regulates and beauty dignifies. Beauty tells the child you are worthy of care, and it's not indulgent, it's pedagogical. Neuroscience now confirms what ancient cultures already knew. Safety and aesthetic coherence calm the nervous system, and when the nervous system is calm, learning can enter. Beauty is not decoration, it's a teaching strategy. It's emotional architecture. Steiner said that moral imagination arises from the feeling life. If we remove beauty from education, we risk raising clever minds with unawakened hearts. And our world cannot and should not afford that. So perhaps our work, whether we teach art or math or science or pottery, it's to ask, where is the beautiful here? How do I shape this lesson or that room so that it nourishes? And how do I create a room that can breathe? How do I become beautiful in my tone, in my gestures, and in my listening? Because beauty is not only what we create, it is how we are. I'd like to close today with a poem that M.C. Richards wrote called Pelted by Beauty. And all the flowers swarmed about our heads. Deep, deep the sting goes. We know our need and carry our begging bowl. Now hear with courage our own cries, the tender shout of readiness. I will, I do. Yes, let us receive into our bodies the divine pulse, anointed with petals. Awaken and go forth changed. Now truly are we God's fools, lilies of the field, no thought for the morrow, feeding strangers and comforting the fearful, doing good to those who hurt us, carrying blossoms to be beauty and peace.